Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome
Hello.
to the Podcast Discovery Show Live. And we're glad you're here to hang out. We got a lot of stuff to discover tonight. But first, the question of the night. I'll start with you, Kirk.
Yes.
What is your movie snack? What is the
My
snack
movie
that is your
snack.
favorite thing to eat during a movie? And also, you can pivot to what do you think should be a movie snack but isn't yet?
Hmm. Can I start with the first one? Chicken
Yes.
wings. Chicken wings should be a movie snack.
I hard disagree, especially because you have burned me on that permanently. So
Chicken wings always. Chicken wings are an always snack. Uh no, my favorite movie snack, I mean it's a given and I always get it every time I go to the movies and every time we do anything here at the house when we watch a movie. It's popcorn. I'm a popcorn guy. I love me some movie popcorn, specifically at the movies.
I do think that there's something about that butter juice that you put all over
Mm,
it at the movie theater that makes it really good. I
yeah,
have a
I
feeling
don't know
that's
what it
mostly
is.
salt, but it
It's
tastes
just
great. It tastes amazing. I definitely am, if I'm at a movie theater, popcorn for sure. I had an air popper for a long time. I think is what we call them, and so it's like you can make it at home, and that's pretty good.
Mhm.
But I think that the one that should be a movie snack that isn't yet is charcuterie. You can just eat like pickles and like salami,
Oh,
like
you had me
bread.
at pickles.
Yeah, Kirk's like, oh, pickles. I forgot about pickles.
You're right. Dang it. That's my favorite. That's one that should be. It definitely should be pickles.
Not just
All
pickles,
pickles. No,
charcuterie.
no. You screw charcuterie. It should be just pickles.
Okay. No, but like with charcuterie, it doesn't have to just be pickles. It's also salami.
It can be different types of pickled things.
Twig says hers is pizza and ice cream, which, first of all, I don't know how you're eating either of those in a movie theater. I guess you can get both of those.
I mean, it could be a movie night at your house.
Yeah, definitely movie night. It's all good. I guess chips and salsa would be delicious too.
Mm,
Maybe not at the theater, but at home
very
it'd be sick.
crunchy. Yeah, adds to the noise.
Mm.
Although popcorn's not great. It's a little bit loud. Not super loud, but it's a little bit. You ever been in a movie and it's intense and you hear someone just digging in that popcorn bag?
My thing was always there was one time where I had a bag of Skittles that wouldn't open, and I kept pulling on it and it launched them into the air. And like you could hear it. You know that scene from The Office where he's like rolling stuff around when they're supposed to be quiet? It was like that, but with Skittles. A million Skittles rolling down the movie theater.
I snuck a whole pizza in the movie theater multiple times.
How do you sneak a pizza in a movie theater?
Don't ask
Like,
questions.
how do you sneak a pizza at all?
I don't remember how I did it, but I did it multiple times because there was a pizza place right next to the Brandon Theater for a long time,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
and
remember that.
I would get a pizza and sneak it in there. Although I think that theater in particular for a little while was cool with you taking food in.
I think so too.
I They're probably not anymore. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
at this point, they'd probably let you bring in like whatever you want if you just go to the movies. But they don't have any movies, I don't think. But
They
whatever.
got Wonder Woman, which I heard was real bad. I haven't seen it, so I can't give my opinion on it, but I
I
have
haven't
not
seen
heard
Wonder
good
Woman
things about
either.
it.
It's surprising that it's bad because the first one did so well and was so well received. That's weird. Hmm. Sequels, they'll get you.
Oh, there is a lot of mouth sounds, probably.
What mouth sounds in the movie theater right now?
But that's the way it is at restaurants, though, too, right? Does that bother you when you're like at a restaurant?
No, they have ambiance music.
Ambiance music.
I don't know. I'm guessing. All right. Well, were you wanting to start with PDS as
Yes.
usual, and then
Mm-hmm.
our we have a special surprise for what our recommendation is for next week, right?
Yes. Yeah. We do. We have a special announcement. And Jordan, yes, this is my co-host. Well, we are both. Dang it! How do I? We're both hosts to the show. Josh always got me all paranoid about that now. But there's two of us on the actual podcast, so we take turns on the gaming streams. He does Sundays, I do Tuesdays, and then we do this together, and then we do game nights after tonight, like after the podcast. I'm not very good at explaining what we do. Apparently, there's a horrible elevator pitch.
I'm curious if you can hear Wild Bill screeching in the distance.
Yeah, I can hear
him. Because I can hear him.
I'm sure you can.
So
maybe do we need to talk a little bit, and hopefully maybe that'll calm down?
Yeah. It shouldn't take too long. I think he's mad because he's about to take his bath, so he's acting like he's being waterboarded.
Yeah.
It seems to have died down. We can go for it.
You keep saying sides. Am I missing something?
What?
The sides echoing off the walls.
Did everyone answer the word?
Doesn't echo off the walls in restaurants.
What are you typing on right now, Twigs?
She's typing on a potato. She's doing the voice activated thing.
Oh, and now she's just yelling
I don't
at it. She's just yelling.
Alexa, damn it. No, she's got us on the TV, so she probably is on. Yeah, I think she said she had us on the big TV. We've made it to the big screen, guys.
Heyo.
We're on the big screen.
We've done it.
She has to type on mobile. I've done that.
I've done that before too.
And it is annoying. But yeah. And so what did you think about Startup, Zach? I'm excited about this. I like the show a lot. And I thought the story of Twitch was interesting. Just freaking how it started and how many times it should have failed.
Yeah. I definitely think there's a lot of stuff to talk about here. And especially because that almost failing is ridiculous as we are talking on the platform, and it has blown up to like a level that was unexpected, maybe is a way to say it. But yeah. So it was definitely crazy to hear the background of it.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight is talking about Twitch, but the company, how it started, where it went. This show that we're talking about is called Startup, and they talk about companies that start like that are startups, how they started. Some of them are successful by the time they've been interviewed and stuff like that, like Twitch. Some of them are not, or they're in the middle of it. But it was a interesting 2-part series on Twitch in particular, because I didn't know a lot about it. I had heard a little bit about quote unquote Justin TV. I had no idea what it was. I thought it was literally just the name before Twitch, which I guess it was, but it had multiple iterations before what we know of as Twitch.
Yeah, it definitely was. Well, I'm going to start recording over here.
All right. Does it sound like it's calmed down a little bit?
It seems like it.
Yeah, I believe that's the way it works, right? I think, like I'm not being a jerk. Like, for real, I think that all companies that when they first start are considered startups, right? Is that how it works?
In a sense, because it essentially kind of implies that there's somebody flying by the seat of their pants and like looking for investors. You know what I mean? So there are some companies that have money to start out with, and it's less of like a startup.
That's what I was saying. Is like I feel like there's like an extra connotation to the term startup. That's not. It's a little bit baked into. That gives a little bit more context to it. So I wasn't sure if every company could be considered a startup.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of them are. Because like I would say the vast majority, there was some time where that was happening. But like, because I mean, you look at Amazon now, then you look at Amazon when it started, and it was just Bezos in like a janky room selling college books. That was when it's like its startup phase.
I think the one that blows my mind is that freaking Twitter when they first started, was a podcast platform that didn't work, and then they pivoted into what it is.
I think there's a lot of that. I think there's a lot of people who are successful
A lot of
because they make a
pivoting.
change.
Yeah. All right. Did you press record yet? Let me see
We
if
are
you did.
recording.
You did. Okay, cool. All right. me.
There's a cursor on Kirk's head. Oh, I see it. Here it is. I'll move it.
Oh. I see it now.
No, I went over there to adjust his his camera frame.
Josh says that Zach has to sing a warm-up song.
No, he was talking to you.
No,
You were the one
fuck,
singing.
I already did it.
No, you just said me. Find and add in your browser. Both.
What song are we gonna sing, Zach? I'm kidding. I'm drinking an energy drink so that we can play some games
I'll
tonight.
sing that song that the frog sings in Looney Tunes, and you sing WAP.
What? What does a frog sing in Looney Tunes?
You've never heard that frog song? No, we don't need to sing. Nobody wants to hear that. We're gonna do the podcast.
All right, let's get started. Welcome to the Podcast Discovery Show, the podcast that's about other podcasts, where every single week we have a book club style discussion about a podcast that we recommended last week. And at the end of this episode, we're going to bring a brand new show, and that's what we're going to talk about next week. I'm Kirk.
And I am Zach. And this week we are talking about the Gimlet Show Startup.
I love all the Gimlet shows. We've talked about so many of them.
We have talked about a lot.
I know that I'm just like a Gimlet fanboy, and I get that, but I can't help it. I love it. And actually, this was Gimlet Media's first podcast from the beginning. And if you don't know what Gimlet Media is a podcast studio that was started by Alex Bloomberg, who used to work at This American Life. And he kind of decided to go out on his own and start his own studio of very highly produced, very intentional shows that they would be able to make a profit on and like really have a lot of control over. But it started with just one show, and it was this. It was called Startup, and they actually documented the startup of Gimlet Media because a lot of people thought they were kind of stupid for doing what they were doing. They're like, no, you need to make an app, which me and Zach saw a lot of podcast apps that have come and gone. They just, I swear, they're like a flash in the pan. They're here and they're gone. There's you don't even notice that they ever existed half the time. But yeah, now they've got like I think almost 20 shows on their thing, and they were just recently, I think in the last full year, like in 2020, I think at the beginning of 2020, were bought by Spotify for $200 million. So very successful company that started from some dude with a dream, and he documented the whole thing. But this is season 3 that we're talking about, where they kind of spotlight smaller spotlights of companies. And the episode we're talking about in particular is about Twitch.
Yeah, that's like, first of all, this is one of the things that I thought was awesome about this show is when you look through the catalog, you can see the pivots. You can see how they started with literally documenting Gimlet's rise. And now I think this is the last season is either out or is coming out soon. They're about to wrap this show. So
I'm actually not sure. I've listened to it chronologically, and so I'm like maybe 3 episodes past this, but I haven't gotten to the end yet of where I haven't caught up.
Yeah, so but it's just really interesting because you see how this changes around. So they start out talking about them, then they go to other startups, and then they start talking to other people who have kind of made it, so it ends up being kind of just a very well-rounded and interesting show that moves around. But yeah, this one was
a pigeon like that would cost $6.
Thanks for the bits. I didn't realize Gabe had put his input into the Twitch. But thanks, Kelnack. Appreciate that. I didn't realize you had done that. That's funny. Sorry, where was
Sorry,
I?
I can't. No, I had to put an edit point on that. Thank you so much for the bits. It did make it. It made me giggle a little bit though.
Maybe I should.
I made a soundboard on my my Stream Deck, and I have like 4 sound, and that's one of the ones that I have now.
Oh, Gabe.
Is Gabe's Pigeon Like That cost $6.
All right, you got
500 bits. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Kelnack. You the man.
So yeah, this episode is about Twitch TV, or as it was first known, Justin TV. And I don't know about you, Kirk, but I never watched Justin TV. You know, I remember hearing about it at like probably the end of it. You know, probably the end of when it was even called Justin TV. You know what I mean? But I never really watched it. But what Justin TV was, and what this story is about 3 people who pretty much just stopped what they were doing and started this idea that their friend Justin should be permanently recorded for his entire life for as long as possible. And they should build a platform around that.
Yes. So that's basically the big, like, 1,000 feet view of the story. But I do want to talk before they even ended up at Justin TV about their 2 other business ideas that were horrible, or one was amazing but also was a huge failure. But I was remiss to mention that this specific episode is hosted by Lisa Chow, and she's amazing. She hosts a lot of the episodes of Startup. We got called out a little bit ago for not knowing people's names, so we've been doing a little bit better at making sure we rip it.
Jesse, how's it going, everybody? How's it going? Glad you're in
Jesse.
here. Kelnack, thanks for the gift sub.
Rip it.
Dylan with the Prime sub. I appreciate that. Glad you guys all stopped by to hang out.
Got a lot of friends in here. Feels good. Hope everyone's doing good tonight. Senor Stanky.
Ooh, I like that, Jesse. That's
a big old cigar.
it's much larger than my head.
Oh, that's great. That's great. But yeah, so this episode is hosted by Lisa Chow, and so she's the one going through and interviewing all of these, because that's what's great about the show, because it's from such a good and well-renowned company. They're able to get access to the actual, presidents, CEOs, CTOs of these companies and actually interview them. So you're hearing it directly from them, which is great. Rip it.
Kelnack. 24
Kelnack
subs.
Rip it.
Dude,
What?
thank you so much. That's ridiculous.
Rip it.
We're going to have to just hold on a second. There's going to be a lot of rip-its. Try to remember what you were talking about.
I would
Oh, you're talking about Lisa. Oh, you're talking about how they have access to the people they want to talk to, like high-level people.
Rip it.
And it is just rip it so many times.
Rip it. Oh man.
Well, Kelnack, thank you so much. That's amazing, man.
Rip it.
But yeah, I guess what we should do while there's a lot of rip-its going on, Jesse, Dylan, Bunny Cat, the question of the night is, what is your favorite food to eat while watching a movie? Favorite thing, and it can be a normal thing, or what should be eaten with movies, but isn't.
Pickles. It's pickles. The answer's only pickles now. I will accept no other answers. Rip it.
So Dylan agrees, only pickles.
Always pickles, only pickles. I've almost eaten all my pickles that I opened the other night. Sour Patch Kids is pretty good. These
We
are the
do need a
best.
Rip
pickle
it.
emote, 100%. Should I mute the event sounds? Like how long do you think this is gonna go?
Maybe.
Kelnack, we really appreciate
it.
what you've done, but I really do think this might take a minute to get through all the rippets.
Scrambled eggs, no. Nope.
Rip it.
Chicken tender pub sub
Rip it.
is a great choice. Scrambled eggs is the weirdest choice I've seen so far. Gummy bears, chocolate covered raisins, and milk duds. This guy gets it. Jesse understands what we're saying. Not scrambled eggs, things that you can actually get at a movie theater. Kimchi, Josh, all of your suggestions will literally get you punched in the head at a movie.
Kimchi would get you kicked out of a movie theater, and for good reason.
But at home, yes. At home, definitely. Nacho
just
cheese?
nacho cheese.
Okay.
Just the cheese. No nachos, just the cheese. We do eat a lot of kimchi.
It's true. No, but here, see, you've answered both. So for you, if you could just, okay, so I don't know which one. I don't know if that's for home or for at the movie theater. Yeah, it is tough with the crunchy things. We were talking about that. You
nachos are
disturb the
even
other
worse.
people.
Yeah. Nachos are even worse.
But they sell nachos in movie theaters all
They
the time.
do sell nachos.
They just turn the.
That's what I used to love here at our small movie theaters. They used to have like it wasn't like the packet of cheese. They had like the machine and be like, extra cheese, please. And they just slather that stuff on there.
See, Jesse, you're on the right thing. That's the real thing that bothers me is if I am crunching so out of my own head, I can't hear what's happening in the movie. That bothers me. So yeah, I think you're right. You got to go less crunchy. But Josh did say that you can do hot dogs and cheese. He just dips hot dogs in the nacho cheese. And I don't know if that's at his house or at the movie theater, but let your imagination decide. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. We are recording our podcast that reviews podcasts. Kelnack. 500
bits. That's 1,000 bits tonight from Kelnack.
And 24 subs. The MVP.
Jeez. Okay, so I haven't even been on my end yet, but I put the sub goal thing, and just from what he just did, we almost met it. I think maybe we did, actually. Give me a second. I'm going to check because that's hilarious if we did.
Is what a new plant? Kimchi?
A new plant. Kimchi plant?
I don't know what she's referring
No,
to.
the plant in your background.
Oh, this plant? Yeah, that's a new plant. This one right over here. That's a new one. I've been doing some redecorating. Not so hard in here, but it's a plant. It is what do they call these? Snake plants? Something like that.
It's a weird one.
Here it is. Here's the plant. Looks like that.
Yeah, no, the analytics have not updated yet, but knowing what we had before, we met the goal because our goal was 50. I think that almost every single one of them was from Kelnack. But hey, I don't question how we got there.
Yeah.
I just
No,
get
a goal
excited
is
when
a
we
goal.
meet the goal.
Yeah.
A goal's a goal.
No, yeah, thanks Kelnack so much. That's amazing, man.
But yeah, you ended up knocking it out of the park. I just made that bar. Now I've got to make it bigger. Okay, Zach, I think I'm going to need your help because this is going to be murder to edit. So I want to take it back to, I want to start back at after I mentioned what Gimlet was. You know what I'm saying?
What
So basically the second point, I kind of gave the background of what Gimlet was and Alex Bloomberg, and they sold to Spotify for $200 million. And then I said, and this specific episode was about Twitch.
Okay, so literally
So-
just go back to that.
Yep, let's go back to that, and let's mention, like, before we start talking about the big story, just the name of the host. We won't have to like say that we've been called out on it because it's a little goofy. I don't really want to give that.
You're good, Kelnack.
Kelnack, no.
We're just trying to figure it out.
It's not.
It's not.
It's a good thing. Most of the time, it's me and Zach talking with just a couple people in here, and we appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah.
It makes it more exciting, and we really appreciate you guys.
So yeah,
We're excited you're here.
We can just go back. I do wonder if we should literally just restart the episode
That might
because
be
you're
better,
talking about
actually.
like all we talked about was like the intro.
Let's start over.
All right, let me restart this. We're not going to use this first recording. So Kirk's going to disappear for a minute, and you might see two of me.
Bye.
See? Now let's see if Kirk can get in here. It says he's in the green room. I don't know what that means. There he is.
Hello.
All right, he's back.
I'm back.
And he moved his camera.
No, I didn't.
I saw it happen. All right.
It was too zoomed in on my face. If I moved too much, I was out of frame. It was bothering me.
All right, we're going to start recording again. Take two, everybody.
Hey, yeah, thanks Twigs for that shout out. I forget that I can do that too. I put it in there and I just forget that. I forget all the things that I did work on previously that we were able to now use, all the commands and stuff.
Yeah, if
I need like
anybody,
a cheat sheet of commands.
before we get started, if anybody wants something great to watch in the mid-morning, has time, Jesse Fox Official has a show called The Morning
Heck
Glow, and we watch it at work, and it's great. We just
Yeah.
throw it on, and it's a great way to warm up the morning.
Yeah, even if we don't say anything, Jesse, most of the time we're still in there somewhere.
Usually, if we're not saying anything, we have to actually work,
Yeah,
and
well,
so we
that's
have to go
that's
somewhere.
the music we have on the background. A lot of times is The Morning Glow. We love it. It's good stuff.
Okay, and now we're gonna try to record this thing again.
Yeah, because you've even got an edit in here for crying babies. So
Yeah, you might
Yeah.
not have heard that, but it was definitely a thing.
I did hear it.
He was like, it sounded like being dragged through the hallways, at least based on his reaction to it.
Lofund. Thanks for joining, brother.
Yeah,
Now
I
I'm
know.
off
He
center?
he moved his camera. Kirk, pull your camera to your left ear, like point it a little bit more.
This way?
Yep, a little more.
This way?
That's pretty good.
Okay. Did you press record? Yeah, you did.
Yep, we're recording. Take two.
Me. Welcome to the Podcast Discovery Show, the podcast that's about other podcasts, where every single week we have a book club style discussion about a podcast that we recommended last week. And at the end of this episode, we're going to recommend a brand new episode, and we're going to talk about that one next week. I'm Kirk.
And I am Zach, and this week we're talking about the original Gimlet show called Startup.
Heck yes. I am such a Gimlet fanboy. We've talked about a lot of Gimlet shows on here. I know I've listened to every single episode of Reply All, some of them multiple times. And yes, I love Gimlet stuff. But this is Gimlet's first show that they ever came out with. And if you don't know what Gimlet is, Gimlet Media, it is a podcast studio that was started by Alex Bloomberg. And he used to work at This American Life, so he knew podcasting. He knew radio because, I mean, that's a syndicated show across the U.S. as well as on a podcast. And he went off on his own to start this podcast company, and he documented every single. He documented everything. I mean, like, there's conversations with him and his wife, and he's like, "What do you think we should like?" There's very intimate conversations that no company should have out there. Like, he's talking about finding his partner, like his business partner, and how much of the company he should give them, and then it's very much very in depth. But I knew that was kind of boring for everybody, so I wanted to talk about this specific episode. But Gimlet as a whole, they have almost 20 different shows now. They're very successful, and just recently they were bought by Amazon. Not by Amazon, by Spotify for $200 million.
Yeah, this show it's really interesting because when you go and you look through their catalog online, it starts out with just what Kirk was talking about, where you have these conversations with him trying to build the company, and he did that intentionally. You know, you wanted to document what was happening, and so it's kind of like very meta thinking to make a podcast about your podcast studio while you're doing it. But he was doing that, and then you can see how the show progresses. I think they get to like 7 seasons, but eventually, yeah, like Kirk said, they get bought by Spotify. You're not really a startup anymore when you get
No.
bought out for $200 million. You've made it. You did it. So then they started pivoting to other startup stories, and that's kind of the category we're in. But then they even move on to talking to other people that can give you advice or interesting topics and stuff like that. So it really, you get to see the full development of this from an idea in the startup phase to now, where Gimlet's enormous and can talk to whoever they want to and has really high level shows all over their network. And you kind of get to go through that whole journey. And I think they're on their last season now.
Yeah, I haven't quite caught up yet. I think I've listened to like the first 50 episodes, which is still a lot, but I'm not quite to the newest stuff yet. But this episode that we're going to talk about, it was 2 episodes. It was a 2-parter, and it was all about Twitch. And I thought it was just like so perfect because we live stream the podcast on Twitch. We play games on Twitch. We both watch stuff on Twitch, and Twitch almost didn't exist. And we learned a lot about it from this podcast. In fact, Zach, I want you to start off because it's just a crazy story of where it even started.
Yeah. So before it was Twitch, it was Justin TV, and it was 4 guys who essentially thought, we need to get our friend Justin, and we need to record every second of his life for as long as we can, and we need to build a company around this idea. And that's literally what they did. They all quit everything they were doing. One guy was at MIT and dropped out, and they built an entire thing about watching Justin live his life. And first of all, just the most buck wild reason to start a company, but like, look at it now, you know. And I mean, this thing, that type of thing took off still. I bet the IRL channels are still doing well in Twitch. You know, it was never really something I got personally. I never got
me neither.
that. Like, I get it. Like, you get to see like everything about somebody's life, but it just, I don't know, it didn't do it for me. So I never watched Justin TV. I remember hearing about it like towards the end of it when it started getting into game streaming, but that's what brought me on, not that.
Same.
But essentially, they made Justin a big old backpack that weighed 30 pounds, and it had a computer in it. And
My favorite thing, and that also just like makes me feel a little bit better, because I've tried a few entrepreneurial type things that have not gone great. Some of them have gone okay, but is that they had so many ideas that just flopped, including Justin TV in a way. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it almost crashed and burned so many times. But the first idea they had is these 2 friends. The original one was Emmett and Justin. They were talking. I think they said they were talking at a bar, and like they were excited about this new thing that had come out, which was Gmail. And like, you know what would be really cool with Gmail? What if we had a calendar that was you could almost integrate it with your Gmail, where like you could like set up where you'd get like an email to remind you about something on your calendar. And so they came out with this genius idea of a calendar. Well, long story short, a year later, Google came out with Google Calendar, which is integrated exactly seamlessly into Gmail, and they just got blown up immediately. So that idea was just
honestly,
like,
that's
okay,
a good idea, though.
it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a good idea because Google came and just blew them up with it. But that's not a bad idea. It just the timing could not have been worse in some ways. Maybe if they had it, well, I don't know.
No.
It didn't work.
No,
out.
it's just
It
funny
wasn't
because
in the
that
cards.
one's a good idea. Their other idea, that literally was the one they were pitching when they pivoted to Justin TV, was they wanted to turn your blog into a coffee table book. Does everybody remember these? Those giant books they sell at Barnes & Noble that you put on your coffee table? They wanted to make it so everybody who had a blog could just turn their blog into that.
What's weird is I could see that actually being a thing now.
Oh,
I'm not.
it would be niche.
People making their Instagram freaking a coffee table book.
Yeah.
You know that this is something that probably, if it doesn't exist, someone's working
But
on
here's
it.
the thing: who's buying coffee table books? You know what I mean? That's the question. Like, yes, you can
I
do
don't
that.
know.
You can make an awesome book out of somebody's awesome Instagram. Who's buying that book? I don't know.
I
it
mean, I
doesn't.
think it's you buy it for your own house and like, hey, this is my
No,
my
but
blog.
that's what I'm
on the
saying.
coffee
Who's
table.
oh, you're like, hey, if you don't have your phone, I also have my Instagram on the table there if you'd like to check it out.
I mean, if I were to do that, that would be the book that I'd have like next to the toilet in the guest bathroom. It's like, you're bored. Here's a book to read. But no one needs to read when they're on the toilet anymore. Everyone's got phones. um, but yeah, and then their main idea was, like you said, live streaming this dude's life. Basically without, I didn't know it was like 24 hours a day almost.
Yeah, dude, that would be the part that killed me. Because yeah, it's 24/7 at night. They would set up a tripod and just record him sleeping. That would make me extremely uncomfortable. If like I just knew there was a camera just watching me all the time while I was sleeping.
But apparently, when they first started, it was actually really successful. A lot of people were watching it. They were on, like, what do they say, like Good Morning America or something like that.
Yeah,
One of these
NPR.
morning shows on NPR. They got sponsors. They were sponsored by freaking Balls Energy Drink. We used to love Balls Energy Drink. I wish that we were sponsored by Balls Energy Drink. Hey, reach out to us, Balls. We'd love to be sponsored by your energy drink.
Like
But
they're
what was-
listening. Whoever, dear Balls
Mr.
representative,
Balls.
whoever, Mr. Balls. That's definitely what his name is.
But what was funny is when they did all of this, it was early internet to the point, not super early, but the tech wasn't even there yet for there to be live streaming remotely outside of your house away from your computer. And so that's where Kyle, the MIT dropout, came in. He basically had to make up this way for them to be able to live stream outside of the house. And that's what Zach was mentioning, the 30-pound backpack that he had to carry around everywhere he went. And so at first it was successful. Everyone loved it. People were watching it and all this other stuff until it wasn't a novel new thing anymore.
Yeah. But as that was happening, as they were getting less and less people watching Justin TV, they're having more and more people talk about wanting to do their own version of Justin TV. And so honestly, I feel like that's the real success story of this entire thing, is their ability to see when there's something lacking and to make the adjustment and switch it over. Because then they started looking into, okay, how can we let other people do this? How do we make a platform so other people can stream their lives too? And then it kind of got another big surge of energy to it. And so that's easily something where they could have just said, well, our idea is failing. What do we do? And they just pivoted enough so that it kind of hit again. I think they said they were having something like 30 million like users on the platform.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I did like the part where they mentioned when it started getting boring, which I love how they didn't like contemplate ahead of time. This might get boring at some point where
Watching this
Justin's
guy just sit on a bus.
isn't exciting. But people started like almost like swatting him, where like they would figure out where he was at because it was live, and they would call whatever restaurant he was at and like order stuff that he didn't order. It reminded me something from Trailer Park Boys.
Pretty much.
Or they would, I think at one point, and they played the recording of someone called. It's not funny. Someone called the cops and said there was a stabbing, and so the cops show up like, "Was there a stabbing here?" It's like, "No, there was no stabbing." It's just people, internet people.
Yeah, no, it was the earliest swatting that I've ever heard of. You know what I mean? Because it became a thing on Twitch too. And I mean, now it's really serious. I think they're charging people for felonies on that now. So I think they've really figured out they don't want that to happen anymore. And so they've really incentivized you to not do that. But yeah, they basically were just trying to make this so that it was working, so that they could get their viewers back. But then they figured out that they could do this instead.
This is what I love about this story. This particular startup is their ability to pivot. Because I mean, even just what we've talked about so far, they pivoted from Google Calendar to coffee table blocks.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's so stupid. To following this dude around 24 hours a day to now a platform where other people can live stream uh regular things, and they're going to have to continue pivoting as we talk. But I this is what I admire about these guys. It's not, and that's what I love as well, is they're interviewing them throughout this whole thing, and they're like, dude, we're not smart, like we're not we're not smart guys, we're not these tech gurus that know how to build all this crazy infrastructure. We just dudes that had an idea, and somehow it's after failing multiple times we found some way that it worked. And I just love that, like, I don't know, perseverance
Mm-hmm.
and not getting too down. They've got down, of course, and I think that's how they figured out the gaming, is because I forget which one of them it was. I think it was Michael, or I think it was Michael. I could be wrong. Was the one that was he said it was, he basically, when it was still Justin TV, but people were allowed to stream as well. He got a little bit depressed, and he's like, I just treated it as like a 9 to 5. I would go to work and then go home, play video games, hang out with friends, and just kind of got in this funk. So he was kind of in this funk, playing a lot of video games and watching people play a lot of video games on his own platform. And that's when he realized, I think this is where we shine, is in video games. And it's interesting how much of a stretch that had to have been, because they said only 2% of their users were streaming video games.
Yeah, it was a moment where he saw something clearly that wasn't really there. He definitely drew something great from it. And because now, how many people are on Twitch at any given time at this point? Literally, and the vast majority, we are in the minority here of kind of having like a talk show for even a segment of our show. The vast majority is just streaming games. There's performance, and there's artwork and things like that, but it's how many people are on a daily basis. How many hours are spent watching these streams? So it's just crazy that they were ever running into some of these low times, when in the end it really is popular now. So it's hard to even like imagine that it wasn't at that time.
Yeah, but before they even pivoted to video games, them having to go before Congress because people being people were just live streaming football games and soccer games and UFC fights from their living room. And then Congress and all these big media companies were trying to go after Justin TV at the time. It was crazy. Just this crazy time, this Wild West.
That sound clip was kind of annoying to me, honestly. They had some like commissioner there who asked him. They showed a sound clip of I guess the Senate hearing, and some commissioner for one of these major sports was like, I want you to answer morally. Do you feel like it's right that you're stealing copyrighted material? And you can hear him just like, first of all, that's not what they did. That's what somebody random on their platform did.
I know. I wanted to yell at that dude immediately.
Yeah. But
like
he eventually just kind of like sat there and waited for it and was like, yeah, that's not at all the scope of what we're trying to do. That was one person doing a thing. That's not like what our platform's about. But yeah, he got grilled. That was Michael, right? And Michael went and got grilled by a bunch of gigantic executives for all of the major sports. And it was pretty wild when I guess they first started. And I mean, we're still dealing with some of these same types of issues, with all the DMCA stuff going on now. Is just a new like face on the same thing, where if even the idea that like video game music can get you takedown notice and things like that, it's just, some of these things are so novel, and we haven't understood them fully to like understand the legal implications of every possible element of it. So we're still kind of going through a little bit of that right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. But then, like we said, no, it was Emmett that was, during the difficult time, saw that gaming was kind of what he thought their niche was. And he's the one that made the decision brought it to the group. And they were hesitant at first, but then they did make that pivot, and that's when they changed their name to Twitch. rather than Justin TV, because it was no longer just about Justin. It became Twitch. And I mean, the rest is kind of history, man. I
Mhm.
mean, it's just that's kind of where it started, and then it just kind of took off from there, and it's slowly built to where it's at today. And like you said, we're on Twitch right now, and
No, and
it's
so are NFL games. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They play Thursday night football on Twitch TV now. So it's really crazy because a lot of
I mean,
these
they got
things,
bought by Amazon for $1 billion.
yeah.
$1 billion with a B.
Yeah, and you get it's like fully integrated. You know, you get the Prime subs and you can do like the Amazon watch parties and everything like that. So it is definitely taken like its final form of what it really could have, like what all it could be. So it's pretty cool to see the humble beginnings of something that has become such a powerhouse for sure.
Yeah.
And it's really well like presented. Lisa is a great interviewer. She talks to all of the major players in this. You know, she talks to all of the executive level and the founding members of Justin TV throughout the whole thing. And it really was just a really cool thing to listen to. And I remember they were talking about the trough of sorrow, which is essentially that moment where you're like, I've spent so much time and effort on this. Is it even good? You know? And it's like there was so many moments in the show where they were so relatable because I really do think they're mostly just normal guys who had an
Yeah.
idea and did something. So there's a lot of moments that are just so relatable to anybody who's doing any kind of endeavor that takes kind of just belief and going for it a little bit.
I like these guys. You know, I heard about another one where they talked about the guy from Uber, and like this guy, that guy's a superhuman. Like no one should act like that. He's crazy. Like I think that he wanted to play Wii tennis and he wanted to be good at it, and he ended up practicing till he was the second best in the world while doing Uber. So it's like he's got this like I've got to be the best kind of mentality. These guys were just like, hey, I got this idea. Let's try to make it work. It's not working. Let's do something a little different. I love it, because
Yeah.
that's the way I think a lot of times. I guess that's why I love it, because I kind of see myself in them. But I do love how at the end, and I kind of want to kind of end on this and kind of talk about this for a minute. Justin talks a lot, and he has it gave me hope in a way, but it also was like, is it that easy though? He was talking about how like anyone can start something in tech, like anyone can. He made it seem like anyone can be successful on the internet, doing something, and Lisa kind of pushed back on that because she's been interviewing all these people that are doing startups, and most of them are tech startups, and some of them do not do well, and they're dumping their everything into it. You know, their time, their money. That like it's one of those things. You just see people. It's funny because from the outside you're like, yeah, that's not going to work. You should probably stop, but they're too close to it and they don't see it that way. But he's like, yeah, you know, anybody can do it. We weren't special. But she pushes him, and I did like how he ended up kind of capitulating into a certain extent, because she's like, well, isn't there some bit of it that's just luck? And he says that basically, he put it this way, and I did like this a lot. He said it's like accruing a bunch of lottery tickets. The more that you continue and don't give up and keep trying, the more chances you get to hit. And I loved that mentality. So it wasn't as much like anybody can do it. You're just a loser if you don't make it work immediately. It was more like it's hard and you've got to be lucky. There's a million things that you know got to go right for it to work, but you just got to not give up, and eventually maybe one of those things will hit. I really liked that.
Yeah, I feel like one of them also said something paraphrased, but anybody can do it, but not anybody will do it. You know, for either a personal decision they don't want to make, or there's luck that goes the other way too, where bad luck can ruin everything you're doing. So everybody has the opportunity to do something like this. I think what he's saying is it's not like we're some special anomaly is why we've been able to do this, but just you have to, there's risk involved and you'll fail, and there's people who will fail and there's people who will succeed, and everybody can have a shot at it. But it ends up being just a really awesome episode, well, 2 episodes to listen to, because you just learn a ton about it. It's super interesting to hear how something like Twitch was started on kind of just fly by the seat of your pants style business.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just really cool. I have a question for you, Kirk. If you were Justin, how long would you have made it? They only recorded him like 24 hours a day for I think about a month before he started getting real sick of it.
Really? I don't think I could go a month. I mean, I'm thinking maybe a week.
Yeah, I would have to be getting paid for it to be a week. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not doing it for free for nothing. I'm never. I wouldn't do it 1 minute for well. Okay,
Well, we're
maybe
doing it
a minute.
right now for free.
Well, yeah, I guess.
No, but like it's different than like I would never want to do that where it's like following you around in just your personal life. I like this because we
That's
hop
what I
on,
mean.
we hang out, and we talk with everybody we're friends with. We make the show, but then it's not like when you're sleeping there's a camera watching you, or like they said he like went out on dates and like there was a camera there and he would go just anywhere he was going. Just there was a camera.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think I
I
could
don't
do
know.
it.
I don't think I could do that. But yeah, no, it was a great show, and now I want to go start a business. Zach, what business are we gonna start?
I mean, are you about to start some kind of pickle business? Is that what is this like the soft pitch for some kind of Kirky's pickles?
Yeah, let's do it. But we got to go in partners. We got to figure out a good name for it. Not Kirky's Pickles. I don't like that.
Pickle
I don't
Kirk.
like that one at all. We'll workshop it a little bit, and we'll be back with our artisanal pickle business.
Artisanal pickles.
But yeah, if you haven't listened to the Startup Podcast, you definitely should. I would recommend, if you're interested in podcast stuff at all, like podcast business, definitely listen to the first season, which is all about, the beginning of Gimlet. It's great. I didn't think that would be as widely interesting to everybody as like Twitch. So, and as well as it's a whole season. But yeah, my recommendation is to go listen to that because it's great. All right. We have an announcement about next week, and I'm actually really excited about it. Zach, what's the announcement?
Oh, I was like,
Sorry.
are you gonna announce it? So next week we have our first guest host of the season. We're having our buddy Paul Chomo from the Varmints podcast come over and live stream with us next week, next Saturday. And he has sent us his recommendation for next week's episode.
Yes, his recommendation for next week's episode is Lexitecture. Lexitecture. That's an interesting word. It's Lexitecture. Episode 81. And we have not listened to it yet, but that's the fun and the adventure that we're gonna be on with this new endeavor for the season 5. Is when we get a guest to come be a part of the show, we're gonna be able to discover a show ourselves for the first time from our friends, and then they're gonna be here for us to be able to talk to them about it, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah, and I also think that he's going to play some Among Us with us after the stream. So
Yes.
looking forward to having 2 episodes with our buddy Paul next week.
Yeah, we've been putting up some reaching out to get some people on the show and getting our months lined out, and it was great because he was willing to be on the live stream because we're reaching out to podcast guys. Some of the times I don't know if they want to be comfortable being on the live stream, so I give them the opportunity not to be. And he was fine with being on it, as well as he was excited to maybe be on Discovery Weekly and play games after. Man after my own heart. The guy's awesome.
Full night
So,
with
yeah.
Chomo.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And remember,
There's always more to discover.
whee!
All right, we did it, everybody. First episode
Did it.
down.
I felt like I talked a lot in that one. I think maybe because I was excited about it, but I feel like I talked over you some, and I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I didn't feel like it was anything crazy. I'm just going to go ahead and throw these files over. Actually, if you want, I'm going to need to take a quick bio. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out.
Yeah, I'm gonna read over these articles a little bit more anyway.
Black Owned Podcast. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that.
Yes, thank you so much for the follow. Do you have a podcast? Tell us about your podcast. I'd love to hear about your podcast. Zach, you want to leave the stream up?
Yeah.
I can still talk.
Sure.
I'll talk to our friends, keep them busy.
Yeah, I just need to grab these files too.
Kelnack, you didn't disturb us. We were excited. I got too excited, and then I couldn't say words anymore. I do feel that weird kind of balance that I have to find. Maybe that we can find better, where maybe we find break points where we can acknowledge the chat.
Yeah, it's really tough with recording it too. I was thinking about that as well. Like, how do you find
it's we're excited and we want to say thank you, and I feel like a dick if we're like just talking about the podcast and not acting like we notice that.
What if we figure out a hand
all the
signal
love.
like in Team America? So every time we're excited but we can't talk yet, we just do a hand signal so they all know.
What's the hand signal?
It's like Team America.
I don't know what the Team
your hands
America
around like
hand
this.
signal is. This?
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. Got it.
But yeah, no, I've thought about the same thing. Is like how to be able to do both. Like how to interact with chat a little better while that stuff is going on. I don't know though. I'm trying to get all these files sent over to you right now so I don't get them mixed up. Because I would like to just have them over there.
Question, chat. I'm trying to find a good like
Pickle.
highlighter. No, I've got plenty of good pickles. Trying to find a highlighter for like internet pages. Like I found like an extension. I found one. It works all right, but it keeps wanting to highlight like the stupid ads, and then it messes it up, and it's obnoxious. But does anybody know of a good highlighter thing? Like so you can highlight an article and come back? Because that's the thing is like when we do Todd's Discovery Weekly. I'm sorry. I want to be able to. I'll read these articles ahead of time, and then when we're actually recording it, I get all like flustered and forget the pieces that I actually want to read. Like I don't want to read the whole article, but there are excerpts that I want to be able to read. So I'm trying to find a good one. Try this one. I did find one, just wasn't great. Why are you asking me these questions, mister? Take a note by clicking on the highlight. Okay. I'm going to try this highlighter real quick. I use Chrome normally. We just found out that if we have our like the podcast and the YouTube and I think the Twitch as well on that Brave media browser. Have you guys heard of the Brave one? Zach mentioned it in a episode of Todd's last year, I think beginning of last year. It's kind of like what Firefox used to be, where it's like no ads, it's supposed to be a lot better in that aspect. But if we have our stuff on there, and people use it, we are able to get a cryptocurrency. I forget which crypto it is, but it's fascinating. So let me try this.
All right, I'm back. Oh, you're talking about Brave? Yeah, you get BAT, Basic Attention Tokens.
BAT, that's it. BAT. Gotcha. No, not that one.
No, but Brave is pretty cool. All right, you ready for Discovery Weekly?
Yes.
Let me go ahead and start recording this.
Wait. No, don't start it yet.
What are you looking at right now?
I was trying out this highlighter thing. I'll try it later. Downloaded a different one. I was gonna try it.
What happened to your highlighter?
It worked, but it keeps trying. The thing is, all these it's these stupid millions of ads that all these things have, so it's hard to highlight because it keeps like snapping to those things as well, and then it,
Oh,
like,
not the
highlights whole
extension, the
page.
website you're at?
Yeah. It's not the extension's fault, really, I guess. So, anyway, I'll do it later.
How's everybody doing this Saturday? Thank you all so much for hanging out. We really appreciate it. It's great to
Yeah,
have
It is
the
fun
friends
to have
here.
You guys in here. It's fun having you guys here. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, I'm gonna start recording. Let's see if there's two of me. Oh no. It's borking itself. Every time. It's like the third one. Always messes it up. There it goes.
Yeah, it took a little bit to hook up on that one.
How's it feeling, Twigs? How's the new place feeling?
You're on your own, but you're not alone because you got us.
Are you gonna fall asleep?
I have to wake you up.
We're gonna have to yell loud. We'll do it.
Wake up!
We'll do
Time
it.
to play games.
Well, yeah, it sounds like we need to get going on Discovery Weekly because up next we're gonna play some games together, and that's gonna be a good time. We're gonna get Twigs on here. We got a pretty strong Overwatch group in this chat right now that I think we could summon.
OP. I mean, we're too good. What I'm saying.
The claps you do when someone sort of scores in golf. Yeah, dude, they are just like kind of scoring. Golf is always doing its own thing. All right, I'm going to hit record on this.
Let me put edit Mark right here. I'm going to put edits.
Okay.
Edits in case there's any edits. Okay. Got it. Okay. Got him on there now. Uh-oh. Clicked the wrong thing.
What's happening? Why are you whispering so much?
I just started it now. I haven't stopped yet. Okay, I'll stop whispering.
There's so much whispering.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, you good?
Yep, I'm good. And I got our website browser ready to go so we can look at the stuff as we're talking about it.
All right. Welcome to Discovery Weekly. It's the bonus show from the podcast Discovery Show where we talk about all of the other things we've discovered throughout the week. I'm Kirk.
And I am Zach. And for anybody who is, I don't know, computer minded and they want to like practice a little bit of programming / messing with some hardware, I found something pretty cool. It is a smartwatch that has an e-paper screen and is a $50 open source kit. Let me go ahead and switch this over so you can see what it looks like. It's pretty cool.
I need to see that. So like the e-reader, like the Kindle,
Yes.
Paperwhite.
And so you can see on this, like it's got a lot of the, it looks a lot like that, which really helps with battery life. But essentially, this makes it so you can program, install some hardware, kind of do all this stuff together. So it kind of looks like this. And basically what you do is you pay for this kit. And the kit is called Squarafumi. And it's open sourced. It's Arduino powered. And it's got a 1.5 inch paper e-screen or e-paper screen. And then all of this stuff is $50. And so what you end up doing is you can learn. And all of this stuff is on GitHub. So you can go pick a different watch face. There's one that looks like the battle scene from Pokemon, and that can be your watch face. And you basically
cool.
you can like program all of this stuff yourself. But it
So
has
wait, do you have to be like a really good programmer to be able to do it, or
No.
because it's on GitHub,
you
good programmers have kind of shared it?
Yes, that, and also if you are a good programmer, you can push it. You know what I mean? You could do more if you really know what you're doing. But if you don't know what you're doing, you can go just get stuff that's already been compiled in GitHub, and they'll show you like how to install it, everything like that. It's got a battery, it's got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, it's got a 3-axis accelerometer, it's got 4 buttons that basically they don't have a design thing because it's up to you.
But
Whatever you want it to do, you can do that. And so I just thought it was a really cool thing. It is a little bit of a challenge, you know, so you put together your own PC now. So there's a lot of that, like you're installing the hardware and you're trying to make sure you don't break anything. And then you have to go and install the software. And so it's kind of that premise.
It crashes over and over and you're like, oh shoot, what did I do?
Yeah. But like apparently if you turn off the like the connectivity, you know, the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth, then it'll last like 5 to 7 days on one charge because it's an e-ink screen.
Oh yeah, because those don't take that much, dude. Those Kindle Paperwhites.
Oh, they last forever.
I don't think I've charged mine in like 4 months.
Yeah, no, if you don't use it,
lasts forever.
It just keeps going. It does not move.
It has 5 flex capacitors.
Yeah, I think you have to buy those extra. I'm not sure. You'll have to look it up. But it's just a really cool thing if you'd like to kind of mess around. Like if you're into like Raspberry Pi type stuff where you get to mess around with programming something, this is a smartwatch that you can do that with. So it's kind of a cool thing.
No, that sounds really cool. I might have to look into that because I don't have a smartwatch anymore, and I kind of think I want one. I don't know. I don't know. I'm always worried I'm gonna break it at work, so I never wear it. I had an Apple Watch for a while, and I never wore it because I was always worried I was gonna break it.
I could see that. Yeah, there's definitely been moments where I was like, that'd be kind of cool, but then yeah, sometimes our job gets intense enough that you can mess it up.
How many times have you just cut yourself at our job? I mean,
I've cut myself. I've ripped my pants off multiple times.
We break ourselves at work.
No,
so
and
it's easier to break watches.
And I ripped my pants like open, like mostly off of my body.
I forgot about that.
I'm sure Jenny hasn't. That was the most unfortunate part. Is I ripped my pants, and then Kirk's wife shows up to get. I think she was dropping off the kids. It was over the summer.
Yeah.
I tried to like walk by like sideways, but she noticed because literally all of my underwear was out. So it was unfortunate.
Oh, it was great. It was funny. So I discovered the father of modern plastic surgery.
Oh boy, I should show them the statue, right? Here, take
what was
take a look.
fascinating? Yeah, go ahead. What was fascinating is how
Here he is.
long ago he started doing plastic surgery. So this is in ancient Egypt. Not Egypt, India. I'm not good at pronouncing names. It's Sushruta.
Sushruta seems good.
Sushruta. So this is the 7th and 6th century BCE. He was a physician in ancient India known today as the father of Indian medicine and father of plastic surgery for inventing and developing surgical procedures. His work on the subject, the Sushruta Samhita, or Sushruta's Compendium, is considered the oldest text in the world on plastic surgery. So not only did he do this plastic surgery forever ago, but he did it like when there was I'm just gonna have to read some of this article because it just kind of blew my mind. I'm gonna stop trying to say Indian words because it's not great. This specific type of medicine, Ayurvedic, is among the oldest now I can't read anything. I got it in my own head. Is one of the oldest medical systems in the world, dating back to the Vedic period of India. The term Ayurveda translates to life knowledge or life science, and is the practice of holistic healing which incorporates standard medical knowledge with spiritual concepts and herbal remedies in treatment as well as prevention of diseases. And I want to read a little bit of some of his quotes, and I'm going to take some of it out because it goes into some kind of gross stuff about like nose jobs essentially. um, he significantly developed different surgical techniques, such as using the head of an ant to sew sutures, and most notably invented the practice of cosmetic surgery. His specialty was rhinoplasty, the reconstruction of the nose, and his book instructs others on exactly how a surgeon should proceed. So I'm going to take some of the pieces out, but I want you to get the parts where he talks about like what they used to use as their ancient techniques. This is his quote. The portion of the nose to be covered should be first measured with a leaf. Measure it with a leaf. Okay.
I'm already not
And then-
liking this surgery. I'd be like,
And-
is that a leaf? I'm out.
And then gross, not gonna say it. Skin flaps. Nope. Gross. The physician then should place the skin on the nose and stitch the two parts swiftly, keeping the skin properly elevated by inserting two tubes of aranda, which is basically two sticks up where the nostrils should be, in the position of the nostrils, so that the new nose gets proper shape. The skin thus properly adjusted, it should then be sprinkled with a powder of licorice, red sandalwood, and barberry plants. Finally, it should be covered with cotton, and clean sesame oil should be constantly applied. That was his quote. And I love how they're talking about like using all of this like oils and licorice and sandalwood and all this other stuff. And here's the anesthetic. Wine was used as an anesthetic, and patients were encouraged to drink heavily before a
Oh
procedure.
my God.
When the patient was drunk to a point of insensibility, he or she was tied to a low-lying wooden
Oh
table
God.
to prevent movement, and the operation would begin with the surgeon sitting on a stool and tools on a nearby table. The use of wine led to the development of an anesthetic involving both alcohol and cannabis incense.
Okay, so people just got super wrecked, and that was supposed to stop you. They would get super drunk and super high, and then they could apparently just have nose surgery, and that was fun.
It's great. It's so like the ingenuity that they had back then.
That's a word for it.
To induce sleep or dull the sense to a stupor during procedures such as rhinoplasty. Let's be honest. What do you think that these things that they're injecting in us, or the gases they give us,
Stronger.
are? It's just a stronger version
Yeah,
of that.
no, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is much stronger.
But I want to kind of circle back around to like the seriousness of it, because it wasn't like he wasn't doing rhinoplasties for rich like Indian women that wanted better noses. It was actually in response to a really serious thing back then. Says rhinoplasty was an especially important development in India because of the long-lasting tradition of rhinotomy, which is the amputation of the nose,
What?
which was a form of punishment. So like convicted criminals would often have their noses amputated to mark them as untrustworthy. But the thing that's really messed up is it was frequently done to women that were accused of adultery, and a lot of times without any like proof of it.
Oh, like
So they
witch
would
trial
literally-
style? Where just
Yep,
this would
witch
happen
trial
because they're
style.
woman?
Yep. So they would literally cut their noses off. And once branded in this fashion, an individual had to live with the stigma for the rest of his or her life. And that's where he got the idea and the reasoning. That's why he was doing these reconstructive surgeries to offer a hope of redemption and normalcy. I don't know. It was a crazy article. Ancient medicine, which is just nuts, but also like for a very, almost like in a good way, plastic surgery,
Yeah.
but for a good thing. I don't know.
Oh
I
no,
thought it was a
cause
crazy
like
article. I learned a lot.
cosmetic surgery has always had a side to it that's not like elective. You know what I mean? Because burn victims, cancer survivors, there's a lot of
Mhm.
people who need like corrective surgery, not like elective surgery. So it's not one of those things where it's always had just kind of that stigma. And no, but it is crazy that he was figuring out how to do this that long ago and was in any way successful. And they're just smoking weed and drinking. Just it was like, hey, just go get really messed up. This is gonna hurt. Like we're gonna tie you to the table, but you need to be really messed up when we do that.
It's like I'm hoping that happens like in the waiting room or something. Because if you've got cannabis incense while the guy is doing the surgery, I mean,
Maybe it helps them.
you'll be really chill. So you have a steady hand.
So I found a discovery this week, and I found it in a really stupid way. There's a subreddit called Lost Redditors, which is just people posting to the wrong subreddit really confidently. So like I don't even know what it was
It's pretty
that he
funny.
was where he was trying to post, but he posted this thing about how kiwis help you sleep, and I was like, what? And so I looked this up, and I found not just kiwis, but 9 great foods and drinks that will help you fall asleep at night. And we all need that sometimes. Number 1, almonds. They're good for a lot of different reasons. They have a lot of good stuff in there. They have a lot of nutrients and everything like that. They don't have, essentially, they think that a lot of these things, they help produce melatonin, which helps you relax, is basically what it
Mhm.
comes down to. And so that does that.
That
And
stuff
then,
works.
yeah,
I mean,
and
I mean,
turkey,
it's natural occurring.
yeah.
We that's what makes us sleepy at night.
Yeah, and then turkey, obvious one. Every year at Thanksgiving, everyone knows this, but it
The
has the
tryptophan.
tryptophan in it, which increases production of melatonin. Then you have chamomile tea. So same type of thing. It's got tons of antioxidants. It's really good for you. In a 2011 study, if you consumed 270 milligrams of chamomile extract twice daily, they fell asleep 15 minutes faster and experienced less nighttime wakening compared to those who didn't consume it. And then it comes to
So is
kiwis.
that is chamomile supposed to help you sleep better or get sleepy? I've never.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, they say that it's good for you in general. I think a lot of teas, there's not really an upper limit. Like drink tea, it's good for you in a lot of different ways. It has antioxidants. It has a bunch of chemicals in it that are good for you, like phytochemicals.
Mhm.
But this one, they say chamomile, it promotes sleepiness and it will improve your sleep quality.
Nice.
And then there's kiwis. And this is the one they brought me here, but I was like, what's happening? But it's true, at least to some level. It has tons of vitamins in it, vitamin K, vitamin C, folate, potassium, and it helps benefit your digestive health. It reduces inflammation and lowers your cholesterol. It's basically great. But kiwis are rich in serotonin and antioxidants, both of which may improve sleep quality when eaten before bed. So just keep some kiwis by your bed, and you can go to sleep well. I'll go through the last
Do
ones
you
quick.
like kiwis?
I love kiwis. I think they
I do
taste
too.
great.
Dude, I found a kiwi the other day that I'd never seen this variety. I think they sell them like everywhere now, but I think they're called like golden something kiwis, and they're more firm when they're ripe, so they're not like as squishy. Like when you like the old
Oh yeah,
regular kiwis, if they're firm, they don't taste good. These that you can eat them when they're firm, but they have more of a tart sweetness. Oh my god, it's the best kiwi ever. Because I've always liked kiwi, but this one was like a next level. I'm gonna have to bring some in so you guys can try them.
yeah. I mean,
They're
I really
good.
like kiwis. Okay, I'll go through the last ones fast. Tart cherry juice contains sleep-promoting hormone melatonin and may help induce a good night's sleep. Fatty fish. So keep a can of tuna by your bed because it's a great source of vitamin D and omega-3 fatty acids, which have sleep quality improving elements. Walnuts, also, they have melatonin, they have healthy fats, same type of thing. So basically, I'm seeing a lot from this that essentially eating a well-balanced diet and having all the vitamins and minerals you need helps you sleep better. So maybe that's a takeaway is eat well. Passion flower tea. So this one's all crazy. It has a apigenin and the ability to increase gamma aminobutyric acid production, and this may influence sleep. Number 9, white rice, because it's high on the glycemic index, and it'll make you go to sleep because you're full on rice.
So is that why we get so sleepy after we go eat Korean food?
Yes,
That's
and
just
probably
gotta be
it might have to do with the quantity
The
of
amount-
Korean food we're
yeah,
eating.
the amount of food that we eat when we.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of sleeping,
Can I
well,
can I
or
stop you
maybe
right
too
there? I'm
well.
sorry, you're in the middle of a segue. Do we have a mid roll?
I don't remember. I know we had 2 pre-rolls on PDS. I don't remember if we had anything on. Give me a second.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to check right now because now would be the time. We're like perfect at the midpoint.
All right. Can you write a note for?
The time.
Yeah.
I'll also give everybody a bonus discovery. So I'm sure because you all have the internet, everyone has seen the Bernie Sanders memes of Bernie sitting at the inauguration wearing his mittens.
So many.
It's
So
I've
freaking
never there's so many of them, but I just thought it was funny because every response Bernie Sanders has had on it is hilarious. Because the first time they asked him, he said, "Well, now everybody knows that we make great mittens in Vermont." And then he figured out that like he could kind of use this, and so he made a shirt called the Chairman Sanders shirt, which is a dynamite pun, but it basically is just that meme on a shirt. They sold out on his website. They sold out almost immediately, and all of the proceeds went to Meals on Wheels for Vermont. So
This guy, man.
he's funny that way. Where like
He is funny that way. I mean, and that's what I was telling my wife. I'm like, it's kind of like a statement. He's like, I'm not going to spend all. This is what I talk about. Is not rich people spending all their money on stupid stuff and helping people instead. And I don't know. It's interesting. It's funny.
But yeah, I just like how he's responded because that is he's essentially meme famous right now. So like,
I told my wife, I'm like, I wonder how many people didn't know who Bernie Sanders was, and now they do
yeah,
because of this stupid viral meme.
yep.
We do have a mid roll,
Okay,
so
so I'm glad we stopped.
how are we gonna?
And it would make
Roll.
sense to have a segue after a mid roll, anyways.
Yeah.
No, but you can just fade in the music at the end of that last discovery, and then
So what was the edit point mark?
I forgot to
Time.
check once you said that because I was looking at that. I think it's 19.
19-ish.
I'll put ish.
All right.
Actually, no, I think it was closer to 17 or 18 because I remember looking over there and it was at like 1754. I'm gonna call it 18ish.
All right.
Okay, and now you guys don't have to listen to ads because we already recorded it.
Yep, we're gonna start doing that for you guys because we value you guys' time and you guys being here, and you guys don't need to hear us stumble over ads. That's for the podcast.
That is for our very special podcast listeners.
Well, no, it's edited and not
I
stumbling.
know, I'm messing with you.
But we do have one mid roll for here, so I'm glad you mentioned that. All right, so you were just talking about sleepy foods a little bit ago, and I found an article about sleepwalking. And I don't know if you guys know very much about Mike Birbiglia. I don't know all that much. I've listened to some of his comedy. I
Mhm.
think the guy's funny.
Yeah.
The guy is very, of course, he's a comedian, but he's a good one. He's got that self-deprecating, really funny humor. But they did Rolling Stones did an interview on him in it was like mid 2000s, like 2012, something like that. And he was coming out with a new stand-up routine or stand-up special. And this was the question. And the thing is, this is a short discovery, but it just kind of blew my mind. he has really, really bad sleepwalking that he does. And this was the question. At the climax of Sleep With Me, or Sleepwalk With Me, which is the name of his special, which you directed and starred in, your character jumps through the second story window of a La Quinta Inn while he's asleep. Something that you actually did in real life because you suffer from REM behavior disorder. Do you really go to bed now with mittens and a sleeping bag to restrain yourself?
Does he?
Yes, he does. He says my sleeping bag is in my suitcase because I just got back from a trip. The mittens are here too. But I don't use them all the time because they feel restrictive and warm and not comfy. But he has to literally like tie himself into a sleeping bag when he goes anywhere because he literally, while sleepwalking, jumped out of a second story window at a La Quinta because he was dreaming that there was missiles about to hit the building.
And that is why they lock the windows at hotels.
So this is and there was one more question in regards to it. It says, your bedroom is on the second floor of this building. Isn't that dangerous? And his answer was, we just moved in a couple weeks ago and we ordered shutters for our windows, which are essentially a wall when they're closed. They haven't come in yet, so in the meantime, we've put like pillows and furniture in the window frames. All the couch pillows from downstairs. It's absurd. Sometimes when I'm on tour on the wrong floor of a hotel, my wife and I take a couch and tilt it up against the window. If housekeeping comes, they think that we're Johnny Depp or something, like we're on drugs and we trash the room. I think this guy's eating way too many kiwis.
Way too many kiwis.
Way too many kiwis.
Are you?
No, I just thought it was funny and just this very interesting quirk of Mike Birbiglia
Do you
that I
sleepwalk?
did not know about. I do not. I did a few times when I was a kid.
I never sleepwalked. I sleep talked, and I sleep attacked Jordan. But other
I
than
do
that,
remember you sleep attacking a friend. You literally jumped over me onto him and acted like you were gonna beat him up or like he was getting you or something. I don't know. It was a thing.
I don't really remember it.
I remember it. And then I remember one time we had a sleepover at your house where other friends were there and they went to sleep before us. Do you remember this? It was Shane and Sam, and they both started sleep talking to each other.
Oh, I do remember that.
They started sleep talking to each other while some of us were awake in the room. And I was like, "Oh my god!" It was what?
It's very odd to be.
I remember what they said. I swear, Shane like sat up, and he said, "Show me the money" or something like that. And Sam's like, "I got it." Do you remember?
That does sound very familiar, actually.
And then they both went right back to sleep. Oh man,
No,
I remember that.
My youngest brother was a sleepwalker. He would do stuff. He would like wander around and like he would open doors and he would leave. And like one time he like I think he went and got in the bathtub in like the middle of the night and like was just like sitting in it. And but he was always very like impressionable while he was sleepwalking. You could be like, "Hey, go back to bed," be like, "No, okay," and then you just wander off. And so it's weird to be around somebody that's sleepwalking. I would sleep talk more than anything though.
Yeah, I used to sleepwalk when I was a kid, but it wasn't a regular thing.
Okay, so I discovered something that is really interesting, and it kind of mixes on a couple things I've been researching, and I found it. There is a game called Decentraland. Have you heard of this?
Mm-mm.
It is a VR platform that is built on Ethereum blockchain. And so this is an entire VR world. You can go do VR stuff. You can buy land. They have like little parcels that are all like everything is monitored completely and stored on a blockchain. They have land that you can buy. You can go set up whatever you want there. You know, you can build like a little town. You can build like an interactive type game. You can do 3D scenes. You can do whatever you want, really. Some of them are like also put into like districts. So there's things that are, it's more like a community based things. Um, but it's all stored on decentralized network, and all of the ownership and the governance is done like it's blockchain, like it's a token. The in-game currency is called mana, and it is tradable on Coinbase or wherever else. It is a literal cryptocurrency that is the currency inside this game.
What's it called?
It's called Decentraland.
No, but what was the currency?
Mana, MANA.
So like it, the magic
Yeah,
currency, not currency, but like the magic thing that from most games and stuff.
yeah. But essentially, they tell you get a crypto wallet because it uses Ethereum blockchain to record the ownership of all digital assets and tradable items. Every single thing that you make and sell in that game is for the cryptocurrency. You can, they've done all kinds of crazy stuff about what you can do like with this because okay, there's artists, and what they've done is they've recreated their art digitally, but it's just a marketplace. It's like a website for their art. So you can walk around in VR, look at a 3D picture, but you can buy it with the cryptocurrency.
Do you have to have VR to play it?
I think
use it?
so. I think it's a VR game. Like
Dang.
I think it's
Because this sounds like something I want to do like right now. This sounds really interesting.
it's crazy because like it is.
I need to at least look at it. Do you have any like visuals of it?
Let me see if I can find a visual of the game itself because like that's the thing is like this is all the, it's so dense
The tech part.
that like it's, yeah, the tech is a huge part of it, and I don't know, let me see if I can find something here. But yeah, it essentially ends up being, it looks like a VR game, you know what I mean? It just looks like VR wandering around. There's like, it's
And
kind of
this is like a
cartoony.
open world type game. thing?
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, it has like some boundaries. It's not like completely open like Eve, you know, it's smaller than like Eve, but here, I'll just show you the Google image things here.
I'm on their website now. I'm looking at it.
So this
I
is
wanted
kind of
to
what
get
it
a
looks
visual
like,
of
just
it.
kind of like cartoony VR. But all of this is built on Ethereum blockchain, and
It
it's
almost
all,
reminds me a little bit of like Second Life. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's similar to like Second Life or The Sims, sort of. But yeah, this is like an entire world that's completely tied to blockchain and to cryptocurrency, and it's just super interesting to see how, I don't know. That's it's really kind of, I wonder if that could really become a thing. Cuz they always talked about like EVE Online how much money worth of ISK was lost in a giant battle or anything. So what if it was a literal cryptocurrency? You know, it was a literal cryptocurrency in that world that you, because it essentially is anyways. You can buy ISK for money, and then you can use that ISK in game. So like it is already, but they have it so it's tradable. I'm pretty sure you can get mana on like Coinbase and things. It's like a
Really?
tradable thing. But what happens is, and I think I understand this correctly. I was just reading about it. I think they put out like, say 2 billion. I don't know that that's right. I think it was over 2 billion. They put out 2 billion coins. There are some things in this game that literally like evaporate the coin. It takes the coin out of circulation. So in theory, they will continue to go up in price. You know what I mean? Because there's billions to start with, but then you're slowly losing them, and so it keeps driving the price up because there's less supply.
Inflation.
And yeah, Jesse, I definitely think that's part of what they're thinking, because I literally saw a guy who was doing an artist gallery and just put all of his paintings up there, and you could buy them, and he could send you a thing. Yeah, and definitely VR concerts they've messed around with a little bit, and who knows how, because okay, you throw a concert in there, you would have to figure out how to like input all the sound. I'm sure you could figure out something, but then they could pay you in that currency, and you could take that currency and turn it into real money. So it's really kind of bridged that whole divide between gaming and a cryptocurrency, and it's just really weird. Ooh,
There's the
virtual
there's
reality
the-
Burning Man would be ridiculous.
Well, he said it was that this year.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm
because
saying.
of COVID. I need to see what that turned out like. That sounds very interesting. That is maybe one of the things that like I haven't really looked into very much, but it's probably something that would be maybe on my bucket list if I looked into a little bit more. Kind of like Running of the Bulls, but watching the people do it. Burning Man's probably one of the things that I maybe would want to do one day. Sounds crazy.
Yeah, I think it's quite an experience.
But there's the link to Decentraland, their official website, if you guys want to look at it. Um, and yeah, no, that sounds very fascinating.
Yeah, if I had a VR rig, I might mess around with it.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be interesting to earn money while playing a game. I've always wondered if that would ever. I think it's gonna be a thing. It's just a matter of time. It's already gotten, it's kind of touched that a few times already.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like you mentioned with like ISK or even like other games that have had a currency. What Diablo, that was a fiasco, but they basically had a real money auction house for a while, which was a travesty and it didn't work right. But
Yeah, that was exploited. You have to prevent exploitation if you're going to do it.
yeah, that was the wrong way to do it. But these companies are already knowing that that's the direction that kind of it's going. Yeah, people were selling things for $10,000.
You did a Morning Glow set virtual Burning Man show, Jesse? That's pretty amazing.
What? That's awesome. Is there any way we could see that? I'm sure probably not because you had to like probably buy the ticket to Burning Man. But
Yeah, did you do it live or did they end up having you record one?
that's so cool.
That's amazing.
Huh.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, now I got to figure out a mini disco for Jesse while we're taking a little break here. Unless you have one,
Disco
Kirk.
between our big discos.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem is I have to find a
All
mini
these
one.
big discos.
I don't like you saying it like that.
Or big girthy discos.
That definitely not girthy. Um Oh, where'd that infographic go? I had a cool infographic. I'll see if I find it. Because it's perfect because it's hard to talk about like an infographic really unless it's got a ton of stuff.
Mhm.
Or I mean, here I'll just post this. This is a good one, and I never figured out how to really approach this one. So the FBI has a giant web page that literally just walks you through their most famous / interesting cases and criminals. So you can read the FBI file on Bonnie and Clyde and see the pictures of like the car and see the FBI stuff. So it's interesting to hear some of these like super criminals stories.
Bonnie and Clyde is an interesting story, man. They've kind of been glorified, but they were. Oh shoot! Just dropped my phone on my keyboard.
And I'll throw another one in there because I actually know I should talk about this on the show sometime. I'll just drop it real quick for the people in here. There's something called Forgotify that plays Spotify songs that no one has ever played before. It will only play songs that have no plays.
It's interesting.
Okay, we're on to your last discovery. Then it's time for some video games.
All right, and for my last discovery, this one is coming from the Discord, courtesy of our friend Twigglybits. Again, this one is about ancient hunters being females, and it's very fascinating. So there's a discovery of a 9,000-year-old burial of a female hunter, which challenges the prehistoric gender roles. And basically, long story short, they just recently uncovered this, and what's funny is they put her at 17 to 19 years old, somewhere around there, so young, but she had all of the equipment for for hunting and all this other stuff. And it was during they say the Holocene period, early Holocene period.
I'm terrible with like when that would have been,
Mm-hmm.
like having any
Yep.
context for it.
Same. But it's cool. They have some pictures of some of the tools that they found. They found They found her body along with another male hunter in the Andes Mountains, and it looked like they were hunting these animals that look like llamas, basically. They're actually still alive. They're in the Andes. They're not like extinct or anything. But it was just a fascinating story about how our preconceived notions of, like, and even the way we were taught growing up, the males were the hunters and the women were the gatherers, and it was probably a lot more everyone did the same thing but together, or
Everyone did
whoever
everything.
excelled. Yeah, everyone did everything. It was like, hey, we got to survive. Whoever's good at hunting, go hunt. Whoever's good at quote unquote farming or gathering, go do that. I guess that would be before farming, but they even talked about another area where they had found a lot of remains of hunters. 16 were male and 11 were female. So there's a pretty good portion of the hunters that they had that were female. So I just thought it was a fascinating story, and it was a really good share in the Discord. And also, if you guys have any discoveries that you find throughout the week, join the Discord, follow us on Twitter and let us know there, or join the Podcast Discovery Club on Facebook. Basically, we've tried to have an area that you might feel comfortable to be in, because that's the thing. Some people don't like Twitter. Some people hate Facebook. Some people only have Discord. So we've tried to make this community something that's accessible to everybody, and we really appreciate it when people share their discoveries with us, and we love sharing them with you guys on the podcast. So yeah, join one of the groups. We got all of those links in the podcast notes, and we'd love to hear what you guys discovered. And that's all I've got this week. Zach, you got anything else?
Call the Disco Hotline. Our
Disco
phone number
Hotline
is 813-708-9118. Call the Disco Hotline. Tell us any cool discoveries you've had this week, or just say hi. We don't really care. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We're having a great time starting out this season, and we will talk to you again next week.
And remember, eat kiwis because it'll make you sleep good.
Is that our new catchphrase? I wanted to let you.
I'm just
I'm
gonna make my own.
I know. I wanted to just let you sit in it, so you maybe got self-conscious about it for a second. No, I thought it was good. It should definitely just be something made up.
It's gonna be a new one
Thanks, Jesse.
every week. Yeah, I appreciate it, Jesse, and thank you for swinging by.
Yeah, we still want to do our Twitch Discovery show with you, so we're gonna DM you again and get that schedule going.
Yeah, because we've only had a chance to do one so far. It was a good one. I liked it a lot, but we have so many things we want to do.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of scheduling them out and actually doing them.
No, but I feel like the best way to do it is to do it.
Yeah, you're right. You are right. That is the best way to
So
do something.
if we schedule
Do
them,
it.
if we get locked in, we'll do it.
You're not wrong. All right, I maybe just I need to go do a few small things, so it's gonna be a little bit longer than normal. Maybe like 5 to 10 minutes rather than 3 minutes.
I'm trying to think what you need to do some stuff. I need to go like grab a beverage and stuff before
Yeah,
game
that's what I'm
time.
saying. And then I gotta go make sure the kids are good because stuff.
Okay, how about
Kids.
this? You start getting set up, like get it so that you're essentially ready. And do you have the music on there? I mean, you'll be able to throw the music on. So what's going to happen is we're going to switch it over, but there should just be a couple minutes, like Kirk said, probably like 5 or so minutes, where it's just going to be a music, but then we're going to play some video games. So calling Twigsley, Bunny Cat, Java Zest, Kelnack, everybody who wants to play
Twigs,
Overwatch.
wake up, wake up. It's game time.
Yeah, we're
This is
gonna
your
play some
TV.
games.
Yep, I'll get my stuff together.
So yeah, just get it started. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming out. We really appreciate it. This is probably the most interactive we've had a podcast episode. So that's been really fun.
Ooh, nice new mouse pad.
Oh, Bunny Cat is ready to wreck some people in Overwatch.
Ling, I'm coming.
Chosen one.
So smooth.
But yeah, it'll just be about 5-ish minutes. We gotta go grab a beverage and just reset a little bit. But by the time this goes down, it'll be back up. We've gotten pretty good at it, so it's kind of seamless transition into game night.
Yep, I'm almost there. Almost ready.
Wait, did Bunny Cat ever answer the question?
About her
Movie snack?
food? What is her movie snack?
Bunny Cat, what is your movie snack? Did Kelnack answer? What is your favorite snack to eat while watching a movie? Or what snack should be eaten while people watch movies more? Buttered popcorn, the classic.
That was mine. That was my favorite as well. All right, I am ready to throw it live. Give me 1 second. Let me get the.
Don't push anything yet. All right, everybody. We're going to put the screen up just so that the end of the stream on the VODs makes sense. And now we're going to switch over to game time. So thank you all so much for joining us. It really made tonight a really fun recording, and we really appreciate it a lot.
It was a lot of fun. We love you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope to see you guys again soon.
And
I am ready now.
By
When you are.
soon, that means like probably 4 or 5 minutes. We're going to see you real soon.
Real soon.